Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're back with another episode of Haikyuu, episode 10. Last time on Haikyuu, the ace is back. I said he's finally rekindled his fire, although it was never really out. He was just feeling, down. It wasn't that he lost interest in volleyball. He just felt, he was responsible for the loss that they had against Date Tech, the Iron Wall, right? And interestingly, I mean, in the last episode, we had some flashbacks between with him and Nishinoya and how this whole mess came to be. They didn't really hate each other so much as Nishinoya felt he, in a way, the relationship between the libero and the other members of the team. I wouldn't even say just the spiker, just the ace alone. Was sort of broken, and he couldn't move forward without that. And the last episode we saw, I believe that they've kind of rekindled that relationship. And as much as we talk about, and I've seen a lot of person's comment as well about how the setter is, and I think Kageyama put it that the setter is a control center for the entire team, or for the spikers at least, right? But I would wager that the libero is just as, if not more important. And I think I've said it before. I've said it before in reactions to the libero has a responsibility to every single person on the court, while the setter is mostly focused towards helping the spiker get past any blocks and barriers, right? Because as Nishinoya put it, the game isn't over until the ball touches the ground, and it's his job to ensure that the game keeps going. And that I think is the most important role on the. It's not the most flashy that I think he said an episode or two ago. No, it's not the most flashy, but when it comes down to it, what other than a spiker hitting a ball, the only other thing that you'll see the crowd go crazy for is when a libero actually saves the ball at the most critical moment in the game, right? So I think the libero is without a doubt the most important individual role on the actual team, right? Because he needs to keep the game going. He needs to keep the ball in court and ensure that the other members of the team, the setter, gets the ball so that they can counter attack and so that they can defend, right? So I'm glad to see both he and Asahi's relationship is back to where it was, and the same thing for Sugawara. I was pleasantly surprised but ecstatic that he stepped in last episode. Even though he said he was going to go on the team with the community guys, he did say to Kageyama that I'm not going to get that, something to that effect, that he's not going to give up his spot that easily, right? So he's still in the fight. I just want to ensure that he still has that fire, and his fire hasn't gone out for the entire thing just because he's not going to be the starting setter anymore. So I was glad to see that happen last episode. Sugawara saying that, okay, I'm not giving up. He's still very much a part of the team. He's still here, and as I said before, he's one of my favorite characters so far. So I absolutely want to keep seeing more of him, and he's, yeah, good for you, Sugawara. Good for you. So our match against the community players, we finally have our coach now, the young Yukai, grandson Yukai. I'm not sure if they mentioned his first name, but he's agreed to coach them, or at least for the moment. He said for the moment it's just for the practice match against Neko, but I suspect he's going to go on for more than that. Or at least I think what the guy, that the organizer, I forget his name, what he's hoping for is that after the coach sees the team play and see what their potential is, that he will want to stay on. And I think that is what will happen. So I'm definitely excited for this. Hopefully, this is a good match and it's a practice match, I do want to see their matchup against Neko. So let's check it out. Sora! Finally called for it. And he has so much power too. That's definitely something that they're gonna need. I mean, Hinata and Tanaka have been doing a great job, but offensively they need a powerhouse that can get past blockers. That's to have the trio back. Yeah, they should call Nishinoya the Tiny Giant. Oh, forget, he already has his awesome name as the Guardian. It sounds cool. The Guardian deity, I should say. Alright, some... Yeah, I mean, aside from Daichi, I think Daichi's receive is pretty good. Oh, yeah, he hasn't seen a quick yet. I just want to see the organizer just behind him now going, you see, I told you. Does he realize that his eyes were closed? Shrimpy. Yeah, because Kageyama sends it to him. Because he trusts him. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, Suga has the experience. Yeah, something that Kageyama hasn't fully developed as yet. What is he scheming? I mean, why does it have to be one or the other? I think it'd be good for them to have two setters, actually. When one starts to become too predictable, they can always switch out Kageyama and put in Sugawara. How do you know so much? You're never there when these conversations take place. It's the first time I'm seeing them use signals. I don't think... Come on, Hinata. He's up. You got it. Wow. I am surprised. I'm actually surprised he blocked that. He's shorter, which means he has to time his jump to ensure that he gets to the right height in time for the spike. Don't tell that to the setter. Setter's amazing. You don't have height and power, but you have speed and agility and reflexes. God dang. Ouch. And Asahi's balls hit hard, so that has to hurt. He'll be fine. I'm sure he's been hit a ton before. It's good. Kageyama can reel him back in whenever he starts to space out. And vice versa. They kind of have that between that relationship where they can each yell at the other, but it gets them back in the game. Besides, I mean, I said he's a third year, so watch him and learn. And maybe you can be the ace after. I get it. I get it. It's like, okay, Kageyama, you're naturally gifted for the sport, but you know, I'm not. So no one can really understand what he's saying, except maybe Nishinoya. Which is why they related to each other so quickly and easily. Okay. I guess this is him trying to build Hinata's confidence. Not sure how though. If he gets blocked, you could end up achieving the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. Yeah, you can't get through the blocks, but you can get around them. Yeah, you don't have power. Use what you have, which is speed. Ah. Come on, get past. Alright. Got it. And you're all on the same team, so I mean, whatever the point that you score, each of you, both the ace and you, it's for the same team. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of think about yourself, Hinata. I mean, you got to think about the team and how you're helping the team. Mission accomplished. I mean, Hinata is a first year still. I'm just wondering if by the second or third year, if you wouldn't have developed maybe more mass, more muscle to be able to hit the ball a bit harder. Maybe not on the same level as Asahi, but at least harder so you can get through some blocks. Nope. They were enemies up until recently. Neighborhood is in the lead. Jump float. He sucks at receiving. I don't see this going well. It fell. It's interesting. I mean, we don't have anyone on our team that's exceptional at serving, really. Oh, it's all jump floats, and they don't know how to do it because receiving is their weakness. Damn, one more point. Yeah, receiving sucks. Even Daichi has trouble, but he received it. Got through. It's not holding back. Korean team won, but they learned a lot. They learned a lot. Yeah, they're a bit troublesome, but yes. Yeah, having to he needs to choose who's gonna be the starting setter. I mean, I know it's gonna be Kageyama because they need his combination with Hinata. They need that quick attack as their secret weapon, so it has to be Kageyama. The only challenge here is that Kageyama will now have to become familiar with Asahi, giving Asahi his tosses because Asahi has that relationship with Sugawara that he can do it easily and effortlessly, but Kageyama will have to learn to do that. I love Asahi. He's like the gentle giant. Asahi's like the gentle giant of the team. Alright, we have our full team back. Fight! All right, there we have it. Our episode 10 of Haikyuu. We finally have our team back. Full complement. Our ace, our libero, and there's gonna be a tough choice between our who's gonna be our official setter. But as I said before, I imagine it's going to be Kageyama because they need that quick attack that he does with Hinata. I've said it before. I like Sugawara a lot, and the coach pointed out himself reason for Sugawara to remain on the team. He has the experience and relationship with the other members that isn't something that's built overnight. It's built with through practice. Over time, Kageyama can develop that. I mean, especially where the ace is concerned, he has developed that relationship with Hinata quite quickly, actually. But I think more or less because they actually have a history from middle school, even though they only interacted once. But he's seen Hinata, and Hinata is somewhat more dependent on him, right? Whereas Asahi, not so much, right? Because Hinata cannot do the quick without his eyes closed, so she needs Kageyama to send the ball exactly to him. So he has a bit more control there. Where Asahi is concerned, though, he's gonna have to build that relationship with Asahi and find out how he likes those receives, because as that was his big challenge back in middle school, right? He kept sending the ball too fast to his I don't know if that was their ace, but to his spiker, and the coach said it to him that, okay, stop focusing so much on speed. You need to not focus on your capabilities so much as how the ball gets to the actual spiker, what's the best receive for the spiker, or toss for the spiker, right? And he wasn't able to do that in middle school. We're not quite sure. I mean, if he's gotten his ego out of the way quite yet. As I said, with Hinata is dependent on him, so we can't use that as a marker. He has been tossing to Tanaka fairly well, so I imagine he's adjusted somewhat. But again, the ace is the ace, so he will need to develop that relationship with Asahi. And the challenge here is that Asahi's not a very forceful guy. He's not going to say to him, send it to me this way or that way. He's just not going to do it, because he's a gentle giant, as I said. So it's partly going to have to be on Kageyama to ask, to say, okay, is this set, or is this toss okay for you? Should I adjust? Where do you need me to adjust it? He will have to do that, because Asahi's personality is not the type to be, critical, right? So that's one hurdle that they will have to work on getting past. But the good news is that they now have the coach, and he holds nothing back, right? And I absolutely love that about the coach. So he will scream the hell at them and say, "What the hell are you doing?" And so it's good that they have a coach now that can pinpoint where the weaknesses are and where they need to get better at. He immediately recognized that they suck at receiving, and they do. I want to say Hinata is the worst of them, and he sort of is, but the others are pretty bad as well. I think Nishinoya and Daichi being an exception. Nishi is a libero, so he's fine. I believe he's exceptional where that's concerned. Daichi is in effect the foundation of the team, and he's the only one who was able to receive the Asahi's spike in that match, that practice match. So I think Daichi is pretty well rounded as well. So it's mostly the first years. I think the third years are good where receiving is concerned, but it's mostly the first years. So Hinata is probably bad. Suki, as we saw, that was a jump float, so maybe that's a bit tricky. I don't think Suki is exceptional at it though. Then there's Tanaka, which Tanaka is okay as well. We've seen him receive the ball, but a lot of times he receives it, but it goes it doesn't go back to the setter. It usually goes in some other direction. So I think I don't think they're going to be perfect at it, because they're pretty strong offensively. If they're strong offensively and defensively, then they're just a perfect team, and I don't think any team is going to be that perfect. But yeah, he's highlighted that, okay, they need to work on their receives, and that would put them in a better position, because no matter how great you are offensively, if you can't receive the ball, they're going to lose, which we saw here with just the serves alone. I think they lost like 4 points. and that's something you can't let happen in an official match. You just can't. They'll be wrecked. If I remember correctly, the match that they had against what was it, Abajosai or Seijo? When Oikawa came in, he came in as a pinch server, and just from him being there, and I mean, this is him just coming in the game very late in the final set, and he just dominated, and they couldn't receive his spikes. So I don't think they can afford for something like that to happen in an official match. So they definitely have to. They definitely need to work on the serving aspect of it. Love the interaction there, that moment between Kageyama and Hinata. Last episode it was Asahi and Nishinoya. This episode it was Hinata questioning whether or not, what it means to be a decoy versus an ace, because he wants to be an ace. But I mean, he's a first year. He needs to just relax a bit and take the opportunity to learn. You don't get to be the ace without hard work, and Hinata is a hard worker. I'm not even questioning that. He's just a bit excited about the prospect of it and wants to get there now. But I think I have no doubt that maybe by his second or third year that he would be the ace. I don't think there's any doubt that would happen. I don't see why that would happen. I imagine by third year Asahi would have already left. I can see, honestly, I'm not even sure he needs to be one, to be honest. And I am wondering where the positions are concerned. And for anyone who's more familiar with the sport than I am, I know the middle blocker often does the quicks, but can the spiker not do quicks as well? Meaning the wing spiker. So if Hanata is an ace, he can still do quicks and stuff like that. I'm not sure about it, so if anyone can prove it on low and let me know, that would be good. So he can be the ace and still sort of act as a decoy in a way if needs be, right? And open the field up to other spikers, because even though they highlight the decoy as this person who will draw attention away from other spikers, but the same can be said for the ace as well, because more often than not, you expect the ball to actually go to the ace, so the ace in a way can act as a decoy as well. So those roles seem interchangeable to me. So I do think once Asahi has left, I mean, Tanaka could definitely be an ace. I can see that. He doesn't have any overwhelming abilities, but he's quite tenacious, and he's well-rounded. I mean, in terms of just blocking and receiving and spiking. So he's definitely one of the more well-rounded members of the actual team. So he could definitely be an ace. But so by third year, I can see either Tanaka or Hinata being the ace. So he just has to be a bit patient, learn, observe Asahi, and get as much from him as he can. I love Kageyama's speech, and as I said, I'm loving their relationship and how it's developing. Where they can both reel the other back in when they start to overthink things and get in their own head. So it's definitely something I'm enjoying, and seeing their relationship develop to the point where I think they're genuinely friends now. Although playfully they'll never admit it. I mean, they are first years, and so you're never gonna see them admit it. But I think at this point they're actually really good friends, and will probably be best friends somewhere down the line. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And the next match against Neko. I don't know if this is enough. I forget when they said the match is actually going to be, whether or not they'll have enough time to work on their receives for that match against Neko. Yeah, so I don't know. It's gonna be tricky. I think they may lose that one, because, as the coach said, there's no way to build a trust between the setter and the spikers overnight. And I think just jumping into a practice match with Neko and Kageyama being the official setter is gonna do more harm than good right now. But they will learn from it. But I don't think he has that relationship with Asahi just yet, or even Tanaka just yet, completely, to the point where they can play against a really good team and actually win. You know, so they might lose the next match, especially since they beat Seijo before. I don't see them beating both teams. So they may lose the next match, but they may actually learn a whole lot from it. So definitely looking forward to that. All right, guys, be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.